Hi Cancer, this is your horoscope for October 2013 with me, Lada from Astrology.com. And please make sure to check your ascendant sign prediction and your moon sign prediction as well. Especially if you're a woman, the moon sign will resonate very deeply with you, because the moon is what is predominantly in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your emotions. And it's a feminine planet. A lot of women feel it a lot, but actually a lot of men also associate with the predictions of the moon. Or the ascendant sign, which is your fate. The ascendant sign is the point of incarnation, the physical body. So what happens to you tangibly on your path that you're walking, on the path that you're going through your life. So this is the real fated things that tend to happen to you. So if you can check your ascendant sign, if you know your time of birth, you can find it. You can find out your ascendant sign, your moon sign, and check those at my birth chart calculator, for which I'm giving you a link here. Just click there, enter your own details there, and check the table below to see where it says ascendant sign, moon sign. It gives you the degrees and the signs. The ascendant sign, the sun sign, and the moon sign are the three big ones in astrology, you know. And often a mixture of these three signs is what happens in your life. But I always give most importance to usually the ascendant sign. Anyway, what is happening for you, Gemini? There is an eclipse happening in your 10th house, and particularly those, sorry, not Gemini, Cancer. Those of you who have their ascendant in Cancer will very likely benefit from this eclipse. The ancient books say that when there is an eclipse, the person in the 10th house in particular, the person can have some big promotion or big development or some new growth in their career somehow. So this eclipse will be positive, particularly for those of you who have their ascendant in their ascendant in Cancer. So then the eclipse falls in your 10th house of career. But it can also, eclipses can make changes, sudden changes there. Maybe if you've been trying to get a new job, now it can happen. Maybe if you're in the wrong type of job, you can suddenly lose it and feel dissatisfied with this job and disconnect from it, so you can move in a different direction. So something can change there can be a big change to do with your career if your ascendant in particular is in Cancer. But all Cancers will actually, whether it's your sun, moon, or ascendant, will feel this eclipse because it's a lunar eclipse. The light of the moon is hidden. The light of the moon is blocked. And the moon rules Cancer. The moon is your planet. So every time there is a lunar eclipse, Cancers will tend to get a bit more apprehensive, a bit more stressed, a bit more worried. Maybe a month before the eclipse, in September you feel it. And a month after the eclipse, maybe you can still feel perturbed because the light is hidden from you. You're the moon, Cancers, you know. The light is hidden from you, and you feel confused and worried and maybe anxious, apprehensive, all those things, you know, till you figure out what you have to do, or you have a sense that something is about to end, because this eclipse in particular is more about endings, it's about detachment from something. So a lot of Cancers might start feeling this sense of that they're detaching from certain old habits, from certain old attachments, that they're detaching from something that they found meaningful before. They might just disconnect from it and find it empty. And they might feel it for a couple of months, this whole thing. And I just want to prepare you, if you have those feelings, to know that it's happening because of this eclipse. And whether you let go of this thing, or when something might be ending in your life and you might still feel attached to it, and that's why you feel apprehensive, that you know that it's not gonna no longer stay in your life. Just be willing to let go of whatever is coming to you right now, in October in particular. Let go of it so you can flow with the energies of the universe, and you can help them rather than resist them and strain yourself emotionally and psychologically. Anyway, let's go on a more positive tangent. The planets, Jupiter and Mercury, are the planets which bring tangible, real results when they trigger something together. And this month it happens that they trigger together from two different places of the sky. They trigger the areas of your horoscope which are connected in particular for purposefulness and putting you on the right path in life. Basically, they trigger in your first and fifth house. First house, when Jupiter and Mercury trigger it, is the first house is your path that you're walking. The first house is basically the ascendant sign. So if it's especially, the first house is represented by the sign of Cancer in your case. So Mercury and Jupiter both triggering your first house, they're triggering Cancer, which means that you will very likely receive some clarity about the path that you're supposed to walk in your life. Maybe, you know, everyone has a path which is dharmic, what the soul, the higher you, the higher consciousness wants you to walk on. So everyone, before they're born, their soul makes a plan that it has to experience this and this and that. And if you walk that path, even if it's very hard, you feel fulfilled and satisfied. If your path is to go on a war and all your friends dying there, you will, even though the experience is painful, you would find it meaningful, you would find it like very, I can't say nurturing, but you know you're supposed to be there. Your soul feels anchored when it's walking on the dharmic path. But due to our desires, we often veer off this path. For instance, our friend is an actress and we want to be an actress because we've seen how everyone adores her, so you start dreaming to be an actor. But your dharma is actually to be a teacher, or your dharma is to, I don't know, be a photographer. And because of desires, or you're pining after some guy, and actually turns out that this guy can only break your heart. He's not your dharmic partner, which is the so-called soulmate. He's someone just who triggers you, who pulls you off the path that you're supposed to follow. And maybe the person that is your dharmic partner is someone who is much more, you know, who is very different, who are not you paying attention to. So when Mercury and Jupiter trigger your dharmic houses, two of your dharmic houses, basically they can put you on the right path to find more who you are, to discover what's really meaningful for you, to discover what is really meant for you. So if some opportunity comes to you this month, you can pretty much accept it as something which is part of what your higher self wants you, like a sign from God, like a sign from your higher self, that if you follow this that comes now, some opportunity, some advice that is given to you, maybe some new career that comes to you, maybe someone tells you that they're starting a course in, I don't know, in something, and you feel it in your soul, you feel it in your heart deep. Whatever thoughts come now to you, you can be pretty much sure that they're dharmic, they're not karmic. Karma is something that is desire, that comes from desire, not really what's meant to you. But they're dharmic, basically they're your purpose, soul purpose. So you can just write, or whenever idea comes to you, write it down, because you can be given some, you know, pointers from your higher self, from the universe or whatever. What is the right thing for you to do to put you on the right path? Maybe some new opportunity will come into your life, which will show you what's the true path you're supposed to walk. On the more mundane level, first house is your physical body, so health-wise, and your mood should improve and be better, and you should feel yourself more motivated, more triggered to get things done, to initiate new things, to start new beginnings. First house is always to do with new beginnings as well. Also, they trigger your fifth house. Fifth house is connected to children. So some of you, especially those who have their moon or ascendant in Cancer, can get pregnant, can have... basically become much more fertile when Mercury and Jupiter trigger the fifth house together. Or if you already have children, something good can happen in the life of your child that gets, I'm not saying something big, I'm not saying they're going to go to the moon and become a NASA scientist, but something can, you know, maybe they take some exams well, maybe they perform well at school, you know, maybe they do something that makes you happy somehow. Or fifth house is also your creative project. So those of you who are creatively inclined with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Cancer, maybe they're musicians, artists, maybe they knit something and sell baskets in the market, or maybe they cook at pastries and they sell them on the market. This is all creative stuff. You know, they can feel much more inspired, and they can trigger new creative projects which get them going, and they feel confidence about, and they get kind of appreciation for those things. But or if you're a writer, or if you're a painter, you know, all those things which have, or if you're a designer, or you know, anything which requires a little bit of creativity, you can invent something new, and you can feel it's the creative genius is the fifth house, and you can be just more sparkly, more shiny this month that others. Recognize your specialness a bit more, you can recognize your own uniqueness a bit more. And fifth house, it's house of romance. So for some of you it might be like your heart gets triggered now. And I'm not saying you're gonna get the love of your life or marry or something, but you can feel love pangs and flirtatious pangs you haven't felt in a while. Those of you who are single, they can actually go on a few dates and feel quite romantic and quite fun. I cannot promise you that this will last, but at least it's triggered this month for you, Cancer, especially Cancer ascendant people and Cancer moon people as well. And I want to give you specific days. Those of you who have their ascendant or their moon from 18 to 21 degrees in Cancer, they can expect the most opportunities and real tangible things to happen to them. Maybe they'll get a new job, maybe they'll get a new love relationship, maybe they'll get a new opportunity in life, maybe they'll get some enlightenment or just improve their confidence, their state of well-being, their emotional well-being, because Jupiter is transiting exactly over those degrees, and it happens once in 12 years that Jupiter is there. It's not very often. And Jupiter is the blesser, Jupiter is the bringer of opportunity, Jupiter is the planet of clarity, which brings you awareness of who you are, which brings you self-knowledge, which brings you connection to higher source. And because you're tapped in, tuned on, you know, to the source of energy, to the universal energy, you flow with it and you tend to attract positive things. It's like when Jupiter is around you, on your sun, on your moon, on your ascendant, or if you're born from the 10th to the 14th of July, it means Jupiter is transiting your sun. This is when the law of attraction triggers on very positively, because you tend to feel positive yourself and you attract, and you're into the flow of now you're much more appreciative of what's around you. Because of that, this is when the blessing starts to pour onto you. Or this is when God opens up his, cornucopia and gives to you abundantly. Or when, even if it's not what you want to receive, what God gives you now, the universe, it will be exactly what you need. And it will usually put you on a much healthier path for you, on a much more fulfilling path down the road for you. So trust the universe. If you're born from around the 10th to the 14th of July, if you have your moon from 18 to 21 degrees in Cancer, you will much more likely be very much, you get some inspiration, some enlightenment, and some opportunities that come to you this month. Thank you very much, Cancer, and I'll see you next month.